All right, so it is Damien, and welcome back to Marketing Food Online. I've got 3 fantastic subscriber questions I'm going to dive into in this podcast. And what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to get this. We're going to upload this on YouTube too? Okay. So we're going to get this podcast also videotaped and then put up onto YouTube. So we've got 3 great questions. It's all about selling food and specifically selling food online. I know there's a lot of misconception and misinformation about what I can and can't do and where I can sell food products. So I know a lot of you as food entrepreneurs that are just starting, you have a lot of questions about the legalities of it and of course what you can and can't do. So I've got 3 questions and we're going to dive into those right now. So the first one is, can you sell food on the internet? This is by Chris Walker. Thank you so much, Chris, for asking about that. So can you sell food on the internet? So the answer outright is yes, you can. I know that a lot of brand new food entrepreneurs are kind of leery of doing this because they're not sure of the regulations and laws, but selling food on the internet is not something you could do obviously from home. That is definitely not, you can't do it because it falls in line with the cottage food laws. So getting a food product online, you would need to really be in a commercial facility. Now, of course, as any business is concerned, you want to make sure that you've got the legalities correct. You want to make sure that you've got the right permits and business licenses. Make sure that you're a registered business. You got your EIN number, of course, and doing that as well. Making sure that you have a food business insurance policy as well to cover any legalities that may pop up if somebody is going to get sick or something to that effect. Now, even if you are going to not make a food product, if you're simply going to buy products in bulk and resell that food product on the internet, yes, you need to make sure that you have all the licenses and a food business insurance as well. I had an interesting question from a consult call that I had from one of my clients. I did a consulting, I think it was about 2 weeks ago. And they had asked about having that food policy insurance. And they were telling me, well, Damien, I'm not necessarily going to be making anything. So even though I'm going to buy a food product and simply resell that, is that something that I can do and then not have to have a policy? And I told them, no. You need to make sure any type of food that's being either warehoused, redistributed, if you're getting it in bulk and reshipping it, no matter what it is as far as the warehousing of it and the reshipping of those products, even though you're not opening them or remaking a product, you need to make sure you have a food business insurance policy. That's really important also just from a common sense perspective, that you need to make sure you protect your business and your personal assets. Because if you didn't have that, and let's say you didn't have a business license or even have yourself created an LLC, somebody got sick, you personally then were going to be held responsible for that. So even though the idea sounds like maybe I don't need it because I'm not making a food product, you're not going to be on the safe side of it. You're going to have a big problem. So definitely make sure that you could do that. But the answer to that question is yes. You could sell food obviously on the internet. You don't have to be a big, huge corporation like Amazon or Walmart. You could start a small business and then grow that from there. All right, so next question we have is, so can you make money selling food online? Is it really profitable? So can you make money selling food online? This is from Mark Scott. Mark, thank you so much for asking. Yes, it can be profitable, but you need to make sure that the actual transactions, I had mentioned this in a couple of my other videos, and it's good to refresh you if you haven't seen these other videos as well. You want to make sure that the transaction is profitable, that you're taking into consideration the fees involved with selling that transaction. So if you happen to be on eBay or Etsy or even Shopify or your own website, that's fine. But the thing you want to think about is selling a product for just a few dollars per transaction, very, very not profitable at all. You'd have to turn out a tremendous amount of transactions. You want to get that customer to end up spending anywhere from about $25 to $35 or somewhere in between there. As I mentioned before in a couple of other videos, my average selling ticket price is around $27. That means out of all of the websites that we actually sell on, we get about $27 to $28 on average for those transactions. That for me is profitable because then after my fees and shipping, and either I charge the customer or I don't, after all of that's said and done, then yes, I'm putting anywhere from about $15 to $16 in my pocket for the one transaction. Okay, now of course it depends on the product that we're making or the product that we're selling, our costs, but most of them are very inexpensive, only a couple dollars to produce. But getting around a $27 price transaction for that one is very profitable for us. So can you make money selling food online? You can, and you want to make sure obviously you're selling it in bulk and you're getting tremendous amounts of sales, but you don't have to sell $1,000 on a transaction or a couple $100. Getting it up there to about that $27 to $35 for each transaction, you can definitely make it a profitable business. Now, the third question that we had, this was really interesting because this brought up a question about e-commerce. Now, and of course, what you define good as. So the question was, what is a good website to sell food on This is from Stephen House. Stephen, thank you so much for asking. So what is a good website to sell food on? I'm going to go through a list of websites that you can sell your products. Now, some of these are actually platforms that already have built-in customer bases, and I always recommend you do that first. Building out a website, if you're going on like Shopify, if you're looking at Squarespace or Weebly, WordPress, or even Wix, these e-commerce websites, Shopify is a fantastic one, don't get me wrong. But the challenge to doing this is that you're not going to have the traffic to your website. Going on a website like a eBay, you're going on Etsy, or going on to Bonanza, or even going on to Walmart.com. Believe it or not, even Target.com now allows you to sell as a third-party seller. These are websites that have built-in audience base. They have a customer base, and they're in the millions. So you're not going to have to go out and try to find them or pay for Facebook ads to try to get this. Okay, so you understand the concept? So when you ask the question, what is a good website to sell food on? These are great websites, but depending upon you incorporating that with your own Shopify store, you're not going to get a lot of traffic, so that's not going to be a great place to start. But in incorporating that with other websites, that is definitely a no-brainer. That's a good idea. You should have your own website, especially when you're selling food, so you have an opportunity to be legitimate, and it looks like a legitimate business and not somebody obviously, buying products at home and trying to ship it out of your closet, which I don't recommend. But there's a lot of people who actually do that. On eBay, there's a lot of sellers who actually go out and buy food products from like a Walmart or local grocery store and then flip it. There's a good and bad thing to do that. Now, if you're able to make a margin doing that, good. The bad thing is it's actually illegal. So doing that from your home is completely not allowed. So a good website to sell food on would be, yes, eBay, a Shopify, and incorporate Etsy, and then maybe Target or Walmart.com. But again, doing this from a commercial perspective, a commercial business. Don't be doing this from your house. So these are 3 great questions about food e-commerce and basically selling food online, if you've ever had that question, and of course making it profitable. But what you can sell online, yes, pretty much any type of food product. Make sure you do it legitimate. The other question that we had, but we were going to cover in this podcast, was is it legal to make food at home and to sell it? And that is, of course, not dealing with e-commerce, but selling food from home is definitely something that you can do, and you'll fall under the cottage food laws. But definitely make an extra side business doing that. I highly recommend if you go e-commerce route, you need to definitely be in a commercial setting. So I hope you guys appreciate it. I hope you guys get your answers to that. Chris, Mark, and Steven, thank you so much for asking. If you guys have questions that you want me to ask on our next video or podcast, let us know down below. And like I said, this podcast, we'll go ahead and upload this onto YouTube as we've been doing lately. We've been really helping a lot of people by actually uploading our podcast as well. So down below in the description, if you didn't know, we have a handful of podcasts and different outlets you can find us on. So definitely check us out there. And I'll see you guys on our next video.